My name is John Wright. I'm a member of Salvadoran Parliament. I'd like to reach out to every Salvadoran living in the United States and also to American leaders that shape public policy every day.
All right, guys, that is Salvadorian politician John Wright. You might also know him as the guy who played Christina's brother. No, I'm joking. That's not him. But you're probably wondering why I'm doing a video on this guy. Well, this video he made is actually trending within members of the Latin American community. And my wife, being one, she brought it to my attention. And I saw it and I realized I have to talk about this. I have to call this guy out. And you'll see why.
I learned the value of public service in America while I trained to become a firefighter shortly after graduating from college. Integrity, diversity, community engagement, teamwork, and shared leadership were some of the core values that defined our organization.
All right, so far so good. You have very strong oration. You have the inspirational music. That word diversity, that's a little foreboding. We're going to keep an eye on you, but so far it's okay. Let's keep watching.
At the same time, I am convinced that being a responsible citizen does not apply exclusively to defined borders or constrained to nationality.
All right, guys, so what he just said is completely intellectually dishonest. You see, words have meaning. I know these guys on the left, they don't like dictionaries, they don't like definitions. But the meaning of words are very important. And being a citizen means that you live within the borders of a nation state. Being a responsible citizen means that you obey the laws of that nation state, that you pay taxes, that you contribute to the prosperity of that nation state. You don't seek to undermine it. Now, you can be a good citizen and be charitable to other people in other countries, and that's great. You can even love other countries. But you want to put your nation first because that's where you live. That's where your children are going to grow up. I'm sure this guy fancies himself as some sort of citizen of the world. The left use that phrase all the time now, but they don't know how sinister it is. You see, that phrase was started by the Rockefeller family. They used to give awards to their friends in the UN and the Trilateral Commission, the two groups that they founded. They would give those awards, the Citizen of the World Award, to people who would seek to undermine the nation state, people who helped them push for a one-world government. And that is so disgusting, especially when you look at the kind of things that they implemented and the people that the Rockefellers gave Citizen of the World Awards to.
I've witnessed the contrast of living in freedom and living in fear. Stereotypes, populism, two-sided arguments are amongst the preferred ingredients of the politics of fear.
All right, so when I talk about how the left appeal to the lowest common denominator, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, how could anybody buy what this guy is selling? Let's break it down, right? First, he talks about living in fear versus living in freedom. Now, you think by freedom he's talking about the United States, but he's not. And let me tell you, as someone who's lived in the United States and El Salvador, who spends part of the year in the U.S. and part in El Salvador, there's a world of difference there. In the United States, it is the freest country on earth, okay? We don't have to lock our doors because it's safe, because we have law and order. We can go out and get a good paying job because we have a free market system here. That means if you work just a little bit, you can be successful. All right? And if you do need to defend your property or yourself, you can go out and buy a firearm. Now, compare that to El Salvador, where people are victimized, perpetually victimized by a bad portion of the population. Most of the people there are wonderful, and it's a beautiful country. But people there live behind huge concrete walls with barbed wire on top. And the second anybody leaves their door unlocked, bam, it happens that quickly. You're a victim. You're a statistic. And here's the thing. It's because of a small population there. But that population does exist. So wanting to keep that population out of where I live the rest of the year, here in the United States, where my daughters live, that's not a bad thing. Then the guy talks about how the politics of fear are populism and two-sided arguments. How is that? Who would believe that? Populism means that you are doing what's good for the populace. There's no way that is bad. You know, the other option is globalism and dictatorship. Then on top of that, he says that two-sided arguments are bad. I know the left hate debate. They hate somebody telling them that they're wrong. But debate and the free market of ideas is what builds strong nations. We should be able to talk about things. If you don't talk about things, again, you end up with dictatorship.
Dreamers, gangs, MS-13, monsters, bad hombres, illegals, to name a few of the categories that are part of immigration rhetoric that have blinded us from centering the discussion on human beings.
All right, guys, so here where he talks about how if you call people illegals or you call people words like gangster or say somebody is MS-13, you're somehow dehumanizing them. That is completely ridiculous, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. Acting like problems don't exist, like problematic people and groups don't exist, does not help anyone. All right? Even if we open the borders tomorrow, we just did away with all the borders, what would happen? People who have given up on their home country or who want to live off the labor of others will rush to the United States. Okay, I know people want equal opportunities and they want to move where there's jobs and prosperity, but you have to look at what builds prosperity. Hard work ethic, law and order, cultures that have a merit-based system. That's what builds prosperity. And people want to live in their in-groups. People have in-group preferences. They build those in-groups around work ethic, around cultural norms, around wanting law and order. So if you flood one in-group, the area they live, with another group, that in-group is going to try to segregate itself. They are going to just move somewhere else. And so let's say all those people move to another country to avoid that. Then are those people going to be racist or xenophobic for not wanting to let those same people who destroyed first their country, then the United States, into their new country? No, that's an absurd argument. And it doesn't think about the main issue that all these countries need to face. And that is fixing their own country. Solving the problems there instead of giving up and running.
So it's not about the wall that needs to be built, but the wall of intolerance that needs to be destroyed. Our most valuable asset will always be our human resource. Let us focus our attention on generating opportunity, not selectively or exclusively, but openly and wholeheartedly. We must remain committed to generating opportunities in El Salvador by defeating the cultures of corruption and impunity, by betting on quality education for all, and reducing and preventing violence. We cannot and will not do this alone. We cannot and will not achieve this divided. We will succeed only when we finally realize we are all part of the solution.
As you see there at the end, he contradicts himself, and that's typical. We see this all the time. You know, leftists want to accuse everybody else of being racist, play to people's emotions, and then they drop that all when they want to do the hard sell. And that's what he's doing here. Guys, subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll do some more stuff that's a little different like this, but I'll probably go back to my normal videos tomorrow. Thanks, guys.